Photorealism is becoming a defining focus for upcoming game releases. Advances in rendering, lighting, and animation are pushing visuals closer to real life than ever before. Let's dive right in to check the super photorealistic games that are on the way. The Defiant is a first-person shooter set on Chinese battlefields during World War II, portraying combat during the War of Resistance against Japanese invasion. Gameplay involves single-player and co-op modes across snowy forests, guarded routes, and enemy-controlled villages, arranged as separate levels. Combat relies on historically based firearms, such as rifles, pistols, submachine guns, and machine guns, including the Hanyang rifle, Mauser military pistol, and MP-18, with controller support and multiple language options. Horizon Steel Frontiers is a free-to-play, open-world MMORPG built around cooperative machine hunting in a desert region called the Deadlands. Players create customizable hunters from different tribes and team up for large-scale raids and PvE hunts, with possible PvP and hunter clans. Combat shifts toward close-range melee using swords and dual blades, supported by bows, traps, grappling tools, mounts, and detachable machine parts, drawing comparisons to Monster Hunter-style group battles. .007 First Light is an action-adventure game that introduces a young James Bond during MI6 training. Gameplay mixes stealth, gadgets, hand-to-hand combat, and firearms, allowing players to choose between quiet infiltration or direct confrontation. Missions take place across varied locations and involve driving vehicles, using spy tools, and replaying assignments with modifiers. The structure supports a single-player experience built around cinematic missions, skill-based progression, and player-controlled approaches to objectives within a narrative-driven espionage framework.
My being, my body. Today, it became infected. Easy, girls. Plenty of meat for everyone.
Girls. Of course.
We thought all his knights were dead. Yet Lamorak sends one more.
Tides of Annihilation is a fantasy action-adventure inspired by Arthurian legend, taking place in a ruined modern London after an otherworldly invasion. Players control Gwendolyn in single-player combat that mixes melee action with commanding spectral knights, each providing different abilities for combined attacks. Progression involves fighting large enemy groups, battling and climbing colossal knights, uncovering story elements, and using coordinated knight skills to protect family and restore the shattered city.
Beware!
Lamorak! She's created another folded realm. I can't reach her.
We cannot cross two folded realms, but this spear can! Take the spear.
Human again!
It seems you do have the capacity to surprise us. Not enough. Change. Rectus. Even with your new ally, we end this here.
Enemy of my enemy, I lend you my strength.
We fight as one.
Tyranno of the Nine! You will not escape justice! Justice! There is only the king's will!
Go to hell!
Foolish knight and your foolish friend. Faced with the agony of truth, you choose the comfort of lies. Loyalty without inquiry is in itself a betrayal. Your loyalty has condemned this man.
The Witcher 4 is a single-player open-world RPG developed by CD Projekt Red using Unreal Engine 5. The game begins a new trilogy and takes place after The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. The design uses new rendering and facial animation systems. Narrative hints point to Ciri as the playable character, with Geralt possibly appearing in a supporting mentor role.
Fear not, Tyrone! Fight! The devil's after you!
Salt.
Almost had me fooled, Fruin.
Is this real? How can you define the boundary?
Black State is a third-person action shooter built around single-player missions involving rescues, combat encounters, and narrative discovery. Gameplay combines gunplay with tactical gadgets, close-range takedowns, and time-slowing mechanics. A key system uses real-time portal doors that instantly connect different locations without loading, changing encounter flow and level structure. Enemies include human forces and robotic units with adaptive behavior, while boss fights rely on unique patterns that require changing tactics rather than direct firepower.
I found one. Looks like I'm in a subway. Moving on.
Roger that. Proceed with caution. Destination is unknown.
Right. Let's see where this leads.
Inside a military base. Activating the map maker. Tell me what you can see.
Seems busy out there. Stealthy approach advised.
Too late. What's your code name?
Project Retrograde The Becoming is a narrative-driven third-person action-adventure set in an underground world ruined by the parasite Luca. Players control a bounty hunter linked to the parasite, using gunplay, martial arts, and parasitic abilities in combat. Enemies can transfer combat memories that unlock new skills. The environment uses a dynamic luck system that alters conditions and enemy behavior, while progression involves fighting mutants, surviving hostile areas, and uncovering the cause of the collapse.
You see that?
Nice work, Hunter.
Yeah, I got it done. But I don't know. Was that me? Or him?
Find that surface agent. She can help.
What's the target?
Sean Anderson. He's behind the recent mutation.
And they sent you in? Alone?
That's not relevant to you. Follow me, and don't die.
Bounty hunter and a surface agent. Interesting. Bring him in. Time to put down these rats.
I've got a bad feeling.
What?
Lobo's gone silent. If Sean turns against us, we're in trouble.
Winter, come in.
Is that Lobo? The whole underground was infested. They abandoned us, slandered us. Wait, who are you?
It's you.
Yeah. Not now!
To survive.
Soon, you will all be one of us!
You are going to hell. Can you still be yourself?
I don't know. When I lose control, just kill him.
I will.
All our sacrifices! All ruined!
Why are we here?
The Luca inside you led us here. I'm starting to see why I was sent to you. You might be the key.
Every last member of the Yotei.
Ghost of Yotei is a third-person action-adventure set in 1603 Japan, where players control Atsu, a mercenary hunting members of the Yotei 6 across the region of Izo. Gameplay combines melee combat, stealth, and free-roaming movement across varied areas with changing weather. The combat system replaces stances with weapon counters, allowing different tools like katana, spear, chain sickle, bows, and firearms to counter enemy types. Progression unlocks new weapons, side activities, camp management, and non-linear targets, with optional co-op missions planned separately.
I found something new to live.
POLYARIS is a first-person single-player survival game taking place in the Arctic after a nuclear disaster cuts off all contact. Players move using skis and boats while managing cold, clothing, hunger, thirst, and weather. Gameplay includes looting abandoned locations, fishing, crafting gear, and navigating day and night cycles. Threats include wildlife like polar bears and wolves, along with hostile scavengers. Intergalactic, the Heretic Prophet, is an action-adventure game set far in the future, following bounty hunter Jordan. Mun after becoming stranded on the isolated planet Simperia. Gameplay involves third-person combat against hostile robotic enemies, navigation through unfamiliar environments, and progression driven by uncovering the planet's history. The structure emphasizes solitude, limited allies, and story discovery tied to a fictional religion, with science fiction elements influencing combat design, level layout, and narrative pacing throughout the campaign.
Tell me something good.
Well, you're right, it checks out. He's hiding out around the Superior Moon.
Excellent.
How is that excellent? He's next to fucking Simperia. No one has left that planet in over 600 years. Anyone who even flies close to it is never heard from again.
Superstitions.
No. Superstitions are the crazy rumors about what happened on that planet. These are facts.
You worry too much.
You know what I worry just to write about? I say, we wait for him to leave, or how about we find a new lead? He's not worth it. I'm wasting my time, aren't I?
Can you please claim him? I don't need another hunter swooping in.
Who is swooping? No one is crazy enough to go there.
He clearly is.
He is clearly desperate.
And so am I, so claim him, or I will find another agent.
Anyone else with all your fucking shit? Okay, alright, you know what? There, you're the boss.
Thank you.
Listen, kid. I'll see you on the other side.
Blight Survival is a third-person action horror game set in a medieval land affected by a spreading plague that turns humans into monsters. Players fight alone or in teams of up to 4, using melee weapons and gear in close, skill-based combat. Each run involves choosing when to press forward or retreat with collected resources. Progress depends on survival decisions, equipment customization, and coordinated teamwork while facing both hostile soldiers and infected creatures. Nazralath: The Fallen World is a third-person dark fantasy action-adventure with RPG elements, inspired by surreal art and occult themes. Players control Orpheal, a fallen knight with fragmented memories, navigating ruined locations through dialogue, combat, and decision-making. Gameplay places weight on narrative choices, character interactions, and player actions that shape outcomes over time. Combat and progression are paired with story discovery, while visual design draws from grim, surreal influences to support a slow, deliberate pacing driven by atmosphere and narrative depth. Phantom Hellcat is an action-adventure slasher platformer built around fast combat and theatrical level design. Players control Jolene as she fights through staged environments, using hack-and-slash attacks, aerial combos, and movement abilities like dashing and sliding. Combat is supported by magical masks that grant new powers and can be upgraded over time. Levels shift between 3D and 2D perspectives, mixing platforming with enemy encounters, boss fights, replayable stages, and skill-based progression tied to combat and movement systems.
Rumors suggest that Xalatath's Twilight's Blade cult has been recruiting in Alliance cities.
World of Warcraft Midnight is the second expansion in the World Soul saga, centered on a void invasion threatening Quel'Thalas and the Sunwell. Players take part in zone-based questing across updated regions like Eversong Woods while uniting elven factions. The expansion adds a player housing system, a new Haranir allied race, and the Devourer Demon Hunter specialization. Progression increases the level cap to 90, alongside class revisions and a new risk-reward prey combat system.
Find and eliminate them. Their evil ends now.
They're combing the streets.
Marvel 1943 Rise of Hydra is an action-adventure game set during World War II in occupied Paris. Players control 4 characters, including Captain America, Black Panther, Gabriel Jones, and Nanali, switching between them across story-driven missions. Gameplay supports third-person combat and character-specific abilities tied to each role. The narrative revolves around stopping Hydra through coordinated actions between allies, combining grounded combat encounters with cinematic storytelling built around historical conflict and Marvel characters.
3, counting you.
And that's 2 too many.
I'll be there before the sun rises. Before the Germans, before that American. The Eye of Force has been found.
Please, just stick to the rooftops. Be careful, stand wasami.
When am I not?
It's better if I tackle this one alone.
You may encounter some obstacles.
That won't be a problem.
Our cat friend is definitely here too. By the look of things, he's not very far ahead.
The American boy is right on your heels.
Who the hell are you?
If you wanted us dead, we'd be dead. So what do you want?
Answers.
That's far enough! Stay out of my way! Stand aside! I do not take orders from anyone!
I don't have time for this.
Neither do I.
Game of Thrones War for Westeros is a real-time strategy game set in the world of Westeros, where players command great houses across large-scale battles. Gameplay involves base building, army management, and tactical combat using infantry, cavalry, and iconic heroes tied to each faction. Matches support solo play and competitive multiplayer, with shifting alliances and direct conflict between rivals. Strategic decisions around resources, positioning, and timing shape control of territory and determine which house gains dominance over the 7 kingdoms.
This is your legacy. You decide who wins and who dies.
I Am Ripper is a narrative-driven thriller set in 1980s Britain during economic decline, where players act as a forensic investigator handling a serial crime case. Gameplay revolves around examining evidence, performing forensic tasks, and making decisions that alter case outcomes. The structure uses branching narratives with multiple perspectives, requiring players to weigh consequences as investigations progress. Interactive sequences emphasize hands-on actions tied to analysis and problem-solving, while the story develops through choices that affect suspects, victims, and the final resolution of the case. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: The Last Ronin is an action-adventure game adaptation based on the darker alternate future comic storyline. Players control the last surviving turtle, Michelangelo, engaging in third-person combat against enemy forces controlling a militarized New York City. Gameplay is structured around melee combat, using multiple weapons tied to ninja training, story-driven encounters, and progression shaped by narrative events. The design draws from the source material's mature themes, emphasizing solo combat, survival, and story advancement through scripted missions rather than lighthearted team-based play.
Been fighting longer than I can remember.
Marvel's Wolverine is a third-person action-adventure centered on close-range combat and character-driven storytelling. Players control Logan, using claw-based melee attacks, regeneration, and heightened senses during combat encounters against human and mutant enemies. Gameplay emphasizes brutal two-hand fighting, environmental interaction, and linear mission design rather than free roaming. The structure supports a self-contained narrative that connects to Insomniac's wider Marvel continuity, with progression tied to combat abilities, story moments, and encounters drawn from Wolverine and X-Men lore.
How far I run. Death's always waiting. Just not for me. Cause I ain't no hero. I'm Wolverine.
We are capturing Objective Bravo.
WRAITH Ops is a fast-paced tactical first-person shooter built around team-based objective combat and precise gunplay. Matches pit two private military factions against each other in online PvP modes, such as team-based battles and free-for-all variants. Players customize operators with primary and secondary weapons, attachments, gadgets, gear, and class abilities that affect handling and combat behavior. Maps span varied locations with dynamic weather, while ballistics, penetration, and low time-to-kill reward accuracy, positioning, and coordinated squad play over progression systems. Marvel's Blade is a third-person action-adventure game centered on close-range combat and narrative progression. Players control Eric Brooks, a vampire hunter operating in a quarantined section of Paris threatened by nocturnal enemies. Gameplay shifts Arcane Studios into a third-person format, with combat built around melee weapons, movement, and situational encounters. The structure supports a story-driven campaign that examines Blade's dual nature while progressing through urban locations, combat scenarios, and narrative missions tied to vampire activity and containment efforts.
Relax, man. I don't bite. Lock up tight now. Night's just getting started.
5 long years in the dark of the ground.
Terminator Survivors is an action-adventure RPG where players control a human survivor after Judgment Day, facing a world controlled by Skynet. Gameplay combines first-person combat, stealth, and survival mechanics against machines and hostile scavengers. Players use firearms and close-range weapons while avoiding powerful threats like the T-800, where staying mobile matters. Progression involves uncovering information about the nuclear collapse, interacting with known and original characters, and building a home base that supports the resistance and long-term survival against relentless machine patrols. Blood Message is a third-person action-adventure that tells a linear story during the late Tang Dynasty, set around the Dunhuang Uprising. Players control a messenger traveling with his young son, relying on close-range combat, stealth, and survival mechanics to move through hostile environments. Gameplay is structured around cinematic sequences, tense encounters, and limited resources rather than open navigation. Combat is grounded and deliberate, while progression moves forward through story-driven segments that highlight endurance, danger, and the urgency of delivering a critical message across war-torn regions.
今日，我们所流的血，是为了把大唐带回来。我们必须在破城之前把宁带出来。
安宁，等着我。
安宁，安宁，
阿月，我将追随杀出一举。
去长安，你这是让他们去送死！
输赢成败，皆如沙上之大，风来即散，为众生之苦，长漫于天地之间。
回家吧，这一切毫无意义。有人，天命所归，我才是大唐。 后来，除了死更多人，什么都不会改变。
没有我的帮助，你走不出这片沙漠。 果神不肯拯救我们的部族，那就让我来。
阿娘，等着我。
十对信使，每个人都做好了有去无回的打算。
War Mechanic is an open-world action-adventure where players control mercenary Jack Wallace on the hostile island of Nordhook. Gameplay revolves around restoring and expanding a military base while managing energy, resources, and contracts. Combat features firearms, modified weapons, vehicles, and encounters with rogue soldiers, automated machines, and bosses. Players scavenge materials, craft tools, repair equipment, and power defenses, with progression tied to base infrastructure and income. The structure allows free movement across regions, with rising difficulty alongside story-driven objectives uncovering the island's past.
All right now, you sons of bitches, you know how I feel. I'll be proud to lead you wonderful guys in battle anytime, anywhere.
Darwin's Paradox is an action-adventure platformer where players control Darwin, an octopus trapped inside a large industrial facility. Gameplay relies on movement, puzzle solving, and stealth using octopus abilities such as swimming, camouflage, climbing, and squeezing through tight spaces. Levels are built around environmental hazards, machinery, and enemy encounters that require timing and problem-solving rather than combat. Progression introduces new interactions and challenges as Darwin navigates mechanical areas, avoids danger, and uncovers the situation behind his capture.